What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are going to dive right in tonight to our match preview of United kicking off their Europa League campaign tomorrow afternoon against FC Twente. We've got a little history there. We're going to dive into that as well. But Daddy B already in the house. Appreciate the love, big man. Appreciate that. First of all, though, before we do get stuck in, big up the U21s first and foremost for winning their EFL trophy tie against Doncaster. We couldn't watch it because, you know, MUTV is what it is. But seriously, how hard is it to get a camera there? But anyway, the U21s won on a penalty shootout after clawing back to a 3-3 draw at the end of full time, thanks to a literal last-second set-piece goal from Lewis Jackson. I mean, we threw the goalkeeper Dermot Mee up there for that corner, literally in the last minute of stoppage time. And we went to a shootout. People were putting the goals away. Dermot Mee did a really good job saving a penalty as well in that shootout. So I think that congrats are in order for the U21s. I did hear during the commentary, during the highlights, that no U21 side has gotten to the final of the EFL trophy yet. I think they play Huddersfield next in the next round, but I don't think that's till November. So again, we'll be keeping an eye on the kids. Big up the U21s. That was a big result for them. A lot of them look really, really, really good. Ennis came on, looked really, really good. Mather got a goal as well. And then obviously Lewis Jackson. Biancheri looking really, really good as well. So want to follow along with the academy, want to follow along with the women's team as well. So as some of those results are popping in throughout the season, of course, I'll stop by. I'm hoping when I'm there in January, Justin and I, I'm getting some hospitality tickets to go to Lee Sports Village to watch the academy. I think they play Villa's academy when I'm there. So I will be hopefully going there to check those guys out as well while I'm there in person. So that will be fun. Haven't got a chance to watch the academy live yet, so we're looking forward to that. But in any case, let's get stuck in on United's Europa League campaign. What we got going on here? Danny says Jackson, U18 captain last year. I think he's definitely one for the future too. Yeah, he looked really good. He took that goal really well. Came in off the corner. Obviously, of course, we had Dermot Mee in there, so it was kind of bouncing around a little bit, and then he just kicked it, got his hips over it, his leg over it, came down in the ground in the net. That's exactly how you want to strike those. Couldn't have done it better myself. Not that I'm a professional by any means, but no, it was a really good goal. I really like what I see. It's not the first time I've seen Lewis Jackson's name pop up with some highlights. So big up the U21s. The future looks bright, as we spoke about this morning. Not only are we targeting promising young starlets, but we have a lot of really good young players coming through the academy right now. And I'm really, really, really excited. I really hope that they continue their development and that they keep progressing and that we see some more of them popping up. Tenhag has been really good about integrating some of them since he's been here, through Garnacho, through Manu, Collier, and whatnot. Let's keep it going. So Manchester United kick off their Europa League campaign this week. We host FC Twente, a club, again, with a bit of a connection to our current manager, Erik ten Hag. He actually started his professional career as a player at FC Twente. He left after a year and then returned a few years later, left again after another couple of years, and then he returned one last time for 6 years. He actually retired there in 2002 as a player, and Ten Hag used to be a defender. And so want to look at some of what Ten Hag has had to say in his presser ahead of the match. Again, I usually try to wait until the press conference goes out. Sometimes I don't know why I bother. The press conferences are not usually very good. So every now and then you get a decent question. Every now and then somebody will say something, interesting. But for the most part, it's same old, same old. As soon as Sancho gets another assist or something, he's going to be brought up. So it is what it is. So as far as team news is concerned, so Højlund and Mount are obviously back and part of the matchday squad. Højlund got like 20 minutes or so against Palace at the weekend. Mount was on the bench at the weekend as well. So it seems like they're both ready to go. Pretty much a full-strength squad. I don't include Euro when I make that comment because we haven't really seen Euro play. He hasn't played since preseason, kind of like when Mikel Moreno went down injured for Arsenal, or even last summer when Timber went down injured. It's hard to count them because they've never played for the club. So I can't really count Euro yet. I don't really count Shaw or Malacia either because they're never fit. So it is what it is. Lindelof is he even getting in the starting 11 these days? Probably not. So pretty much full strength from what we can expect. What has Ten Hag had to say ahead of the match? So he was joined by Mazraoui for this presser. That's usually an indicator that someone's either a surprising start or maybe the armband could be maybe indicative that maybe Bruno wasn't as part of the presser as team captain. Do we think Bruno is going to start? Get your noodle bacon around that one, because we're going to come back to that towards the end of the video when we talk about our starting 11 predictions and maybe who we want in the starting 11. So Erik ten Hag says his United squad face former club FC Twente in the Europa League will be the same that drew 0-0 against Crystal Palace. So same players. Again, no Lindelof, Malacia, Shaw, Yoro. He did say he hopes to see Shaw back in action before the international break in October, but he can't be sure. Mazraoui was fielded a few questions. He spoke about how he arrived later in the transfer window and only had a few training sessions with his teammates before the season. He said, "My expectation is that once the connections and the automatic responses get embedded and are more natural, things can only go up and up." So again, it's just about getting familiarity, especially in the back line, especially with your center-back partnership. Back line is really important to have consistency, familiarity, play together. He also had some comments on the ever-increasing number of matches that we're seeing just overall throughout football in general. He said it's getting more and more every season, and you see more and more injuries. So I think eventually you will see this, and altogether it's too much. So not the first player to come out in recent weeks to basically criticize just the increased fixture schedule, the new Champions League, Europa League formats, add more matches. It seems like there's a match on every single day. We've got the League Cup going on right now. We're going to have the FA Cup here shortly. And they're still trying to figure out how to make the Club World Cup kind of work. And we got international friendlies. It's all a bit ridiculous. And I think what frustrates me more, it's kind of like those 3 Hobbit movies. It's nothing but a money grab. And you're risking player safety, you're risking burnout, you're risking injuries, fitness, all because of a few more televised matches. It's insane. But you guys can let me know what you think about fixture congestion. So Mazraoui also spoke about the appeal of playing for United and reuniting with Erik ten Hag. He said internationally, United is probably bigger than Bayern Munich. So that was for sure one of the reasons. We already knew that news. The other reason is that I felt at the time last summer, after 2 seasons at Bayern, I needed and wanted another step based on a lot of reasons. So again, United is a step up for a lot of people. He was asked about, was Ten Hag a factor in this? He says, always if you decide to go to another club, you have to decide if the manager and his way of seeing football fits into your style of playing football. I knew him already. I knew his way of seeing the game, and his style really fits into how I play. And that's a big factor. You worked before with him also makes it easier. I knew what he expected from me, and he knows it from my side as well. So again, a player talking about what Ten Hag expects, what he kind of demands from his players. It's fun to see a player know that the standards are higher, that Ten Hag does have high demands, and not, play a scapegoat card with that. So you guys can guess who I'm talking about there. Ten Hag had his own thoughts on the fixture calendar. He was asked about it as well. He said, "I think as a club alone, you can't change this. It's more about the total industry. It's about clubs and players and coaches and so many others who are there in the environment of football who have to work on this to improve the game. But of course, to find the right balance, because in the end of the day, it is financial. Like I said, it's a money grab." But he also said, we are professionals, so revenues do have to come. We have to earn money. That's part of the job, he says. But yeah, we have to balance it out. So there's got to be a way to do this. I've yet to see anyone find a good solution for balancing like all the competitions, even in the Premier League English clubs. And we've got 4 competitions when you're a top club in this league going on at the same time, between the league, European competition, League Cup, FA Cup. That's a lot, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. Ten Hag was a bit cocky towards the end of the presser, though. He said when it came to playing his former team, and I like this from him, actually. I like this comment. He said, "I watched them as a fan. I would have preferred to have played against somebody else other than FC Twente, but," he says, "it's not nice to have to hurt something you love." I dig it. I like that little friendly banter there. So on FC Twente, they will be riding a bit of a wave of momentum after their recent results. So they're currently 4th in the Eredivisie. They just beat Almere 5-0, but they've also only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 9 away games, and they have no wins in their last 8 Europa League matches. So sounds like another team kind of like us who don't travel very well. They play a 4-2-3-1. Their danger man, if you saw on the thumbnail, his name is Sem Stein. He's a handful. He grabbed 2 goals against Almere. He had 2 goals in the previous match against Heerenveen. So 4 goals in the last 2 games for this kid. 5 goals in 3. And 6 goals and an assist in the league already, too. The guy is on fire this season. He's currently the high scorer in the Eredivisie. We will need to keep an eye on him. He plays in the number 10, but he also plays as a bit of a false 9-2 when it comes to getting some touches in and around the box. 20 as a side, they have the ability to create chances from all sorts of positions, wide, centrally, and their players have a really good eye, especially their midfield. They have an eye for moving the ball through the middle. Danny says, how old is he? I want to say he's like in his early 20s. Now you're gonna make me look. Hold on. Sem Stein is, I want to say he's like 22. Yeah, he's 22. He'll be 23 in a couple months. But yeah, he's 22. He's a young player, really good, energetic, really good around the box. Like I said, he's grabbing goals left and right now. But they have a lot of players who have an eye for a pass, especially these through balls that can kind of slice through your midfield and through your defense if you're not careful. They're very, very good in the ball through the middle of the park. So we want to make sure that we keep that short up, that we look alive to that our defenders maybe aren't too high necessarily, depending on how the momentum of the game is going. We're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like. Danny says could be a target in the summer. Yeah, prepare for it. It seems like anytime anybody in Europe scores a goal, it's either, we get linked to them the next day, or it's like with Gyökeres. I saw someone the other day, or maybe it was earlier today, Gyökeres has such and such goals in the Portuguese league, and now I've seen so many people online complaining, we should have got him. I knew we should have got him. I wanted us to get him. It's just, fans are never happy. So, but I think, Danny, it's hard because there are so many good players in the Dutch league that are moving on, but it's like, for some reason, if it's Ten Hag looking at him, it's always a stick that people want to beat him with. Another Dutch player, another player from the Dutch league. Like, there are a ton of players that come from the Dutch league that are very, very good. Like Orkun Kökçü, who went from Feyenoord to Benfica, very good midfield. Tijani Reinders went to AC Milan last summer. He's such a good playmaker. I love watching Tijani Reinders. Other clubs in the Premier League buy Dutch players all the time. I don't see the problem, but that's a whole nother conversation. But he is a good little player, Danny. I haven't watched too much of him just because I don't watch FC Twente a lot. But from what I'm looking at as I'm previewing this matchup, he's dangerous. The problem with FC Twente, or I guess the problem for them, not for us necessarily, is they can struggle to break down teams that sit back a little bit that are hard to beat. And we've had a lot of clean sheets recently. Make to some good defending, some good breaking up play, and just being really hard to break down. And with a couple of, saves from Onana in there as well. I think if we're patient, like we were against City in the FA Cup final, if we're patient, resist the urge to press too high to get sucked in, and we can keep our shape, I think we'll be able to keep them quiet. We'll be able to frustrate them. Again, similar to the way we played in the final. I thought we played so well in the final. So Danny says, rather try to get Bakayoko. There's a lot of good young wingers out there. I think wingers are going to be in high demand. It's really going to depend on what happens with Anthony, Danny. If we can move Anthony on, we're going to need a winger. I don't think any of our academy guys are quite there yet. So we are going to need a winger. Could be interesting. We still need a left back, need a midfielder. So I think our priorities need to be midfielders, left back, and wing and right wing next summer. But we'll see what happens. We do need to be we're already looking at young guys like Nipan, maybe Batsarina, these guys as well. Angel Gomez, who knows? But I do like Bakayoko, though. If you guys hadn't watched that video on Bakayoko, go watch him. He's such a good winger. Again, so because FC Twente have a hard time breaking down a compact teams that make themselves hard to get through, I would probably start Ugarte next to Eriksson, but a bit of physicality, and because Ugarte's got that bite, he can clean up a little bit. Eriksson's off the ball work has not been too bad either recently. I go back and forth with Eriksson. I'm gonna come back to him in a little while. But I think that Ugarte can pick a pass as well, which I like. We saw that the other day as well. So I might start Rashford on Wednesday, with the plan being to take him off a little around the hour mark. Same with Ahmad. I might start him and then bring on Anthony to see what he can do. I'm going to start Højlund as well. Danny, if Mount is on the bench, then he's ready, in my opinion. But you let me know. I think we might not see Bruno. Danny says Ugarte, Collier, and Mount. So what about the number 10? Bruno. Bruno didn't have a good match against Palace. He just did not have a good. Gave the ball away so many times. And I know there's this old saying, right? And I do believe it. Like, creative players will lose possession. They will give the ball away. Messi led like football with, giving the ball away a couple of years ago. De Bruyne gives the ball away a lot. But if you go back and watch the match against Crystal Palace, Bruno wasn't giving the ball away because he was trying risky passes. He was giving the ball away because he was sloppy on the ball. Bad touches, just lazy, no-look passes. It's just simple stuff. And it was oftentimes, not too high up the pitch. Like, it wasn't him trying to feed someone with a quick run. It was just him trying these simple passes, and they just weren't coming off. So he had a bit of a bad match. He was sloppy. He was hurried. He reminded me a lot of when Casemiro was playing against Liverpool, just like his head wasn't there. And this isn't me giving up on Bruno, not by a long shot, because Bruno, again, can pull out a bit of magic that like nobody else can. But this is just me saying that he needs to show more composure and focus, and he needs to take better care of the ball. If you guys know me in person, one of the phrases I say so many times, and you've seen me say it when we were watching doing the watch long. We need to take care of the ball, which means keep it on the ground, simple passes, pass it back if you need to, make it boring, simple things. Bruno lost the ball 34 times against Crystal Palace. Not a good look. But I think that Bruno or any player, they are going to have an off day now and then. So I'm not going to be too harsh. It's just not a good look that his performances have dipped since he signed that new contract. I thought overall we looked good against Palace. And I think a lot of that was down to Xerxes. He's got really good link-up play. I like to see him score more goals, especially with the chances that he has. I said it before, he's not going to be the guy who's going to put away 25 goals. He's probably not even going to be the guy who's going to put away 15 in the league necessarily. But I would also like to see how we do without Bruno. He was not on the pitch when we started against Barnsley. We did pretty well. Last season, we did not do well, but we have different players now, and some of these new players look like they're very, very good. I think that I'm going to start Xerxes in the 10/ the 9.5 because I want to see how he and Højlund can play together on the pitch. I think that we could see something really magical happen. I know I've said that Bruno can do things that no other player in our squad can, but I want to see us take better care of the ball. I want us to keep it on the ground. I want to play some 1-2s, quick passes, good movement, and I think Xerxes has shown he can do that. I just need him to score too. So this is probably how I'm going to like to see us sign up here. Let me just put it on your screen here so you guys can see what I'm thinking, and then we'll chat about it a little bit. Erickson, I've actually changed my mind a little bit. Danny wants Bayindir in goal. I don't think we're going to see, if last season is anything to go on, I don't think we're going to see Bayindir unless it's Carabao Cup. I think that Bayindir is someone that we would see in the Europa League if we've already qualified with like a game or two to go. Then I probably think you're going to see Onana get rested a little bit. But this is how I would probably line up. So, again, a lot of this is to do with fitness, rotating, getting some players. And a lot of this is the plan to take some of these players off around the hour mark, like Ahmad, Rashford, maybe Højlund. But I'm going to go Onana. I'm going to go with Mazraoui, De Ligt, Licha, and Dallo because we don't really have a choice at fullback. Amas, I think, just played, so it is what it is. I need Licha and De Ligt to get more familiar with each other. I think we could maybe play Maguire. It's just depending on again, it's like a game. If you want to start the game strong with the strongest side and then be able to take people off, or do you want to rest all the players and then maybe have to chase the game? I just don't like the idea of bringing on the better players if you've started them from the bench to try to claw back a result. I like to get kind of up by a goal or two and then we can take them off. But that's just me. I'm actually going to play Casemiro next to Ugarte. I think that Casemiro wasn't played in the last game, and I don't think it was, again, Erik ten Hag has been very clear that it's not about poor performances or drops. It's just now we can rotate. Now we can rest. And I think that Casemiro was being rested. Ugarte came on a little bit, got some more minutes. I think that Casemiro and Ugarte could actually play really well together, especially with the way Casemiro has been playing this season, higher up the pitch, more involved in the attack and the build-up, less in like having to deal with, defending, recovery kind of stuff. I think that's why we have Ugarte for. I think with Ugarte, when he gets fully up to speed, we don't have to necessarily always play with a double pivot, like positionally. We can play with a double pivot on paper, but I think that he can do a lot of that cleaning up work. And I think De Ligt and Licha can help out as well. Ugarte's job, I think, is really going to be to hang out in midfield when we have the ball and just clean up if we lose possession, because the aim is to try to win back possession high up the pitch these days, and I think he can do that. I want Ahmad, Xerxes, Rashford, and Højlund starting. Sounds like Anthony is Danny's pick for the right wing, and we could very well see Anthony as well. He didn't have a bad match the other day, but again, it's Barnsley, and this is Europa League. I want us to win this trophy. This is one of the trophies that I think is really going to represent progress for us. So again, my starting 11, interesting, right? I wouldn't mind seeing Mount get some minutes if he's fit. We need to find a way to rest Mizraoui and Dalot. So if it's possible at all to bring Amos, put him on the bench at least. Let me see if Amos even got some minutes. Like I said, I couldn't watch the match earlier, but I still wanted to. Oops. Let me look at this. Oh, we don't even see it on here. Boo. That's cool. Anyway, Danny says last chance for me. Anthony his last chance was last season, and he kind of blew it for me. So it is what it is with Anthony. I'm not like gonna go in too hard on him in terms of like just actively like criticizing or bashing him anymore. I'm just yeah, so yeah, I don't think Amos played today. Oh, he did. It was in the other Premier League. No, wait, no, he didn't. He played on the 21st. No, he might make it. You never know. Danny says he was poo against Barnsley. He wasn't like, I didn't think he was bad necessarily. He had a good first half. He's just not going to cut it in the league. I think honestly, Anthony is in the same boat as Sancho when it comes to fitting in the league. I just don't think they have it. I think that the way they play just doesn't suit the Premier League personally. But I could be wrong. We'll see. So I like maybe bring on Manu a little later on, maybe bring on Bruno a little later on too. Just I want to see how Bruno does seeing out a match with a bit of composure and a little bit of control. Bruno needs to show up the fans a little something, and I'm pretty sure he probably needs to show Erik ten Hag something. He's the captain, but at the same time, he just hasn't had a good start to the season. I'm not trying to punish him. I'm just like, let's try to figure out the way to get him back to his best right now. Maybe that's coming on a little later. Again, I went back and forth on whether or not to start Bruno and bench Højlund, but I basically just tossed a coin and just landed on Bruno on the bench. Again, I'm not mad guy at him or anything. He's a chance creating machine, and it's a crime that our attackers haven't been more clinical in the last few years. He'd probably have dozens of more assists had they been more clinical. But again, I'm really curious to see if Xerxes and Højlund can play together. So that kind of won out. And then with a little sprinkling of the form of Eriksen. I think I would have started Eriksen deeper, but I think Eriksen, he's played the last couple matches, so it's probably time to give him a rest. I think we looked worse when we took off Xerxes the other day, and so I would just want to see more of him. Again, Danny says have him ready for Spurs. Yeah, I think that Danny wants you give him a week to stay home with family and reset. I mean, again, it's not all on Bruno. Some of this is on the rest of the squad, the players. We need to show that we don't need Bruno necessarily all the time to just get a result against someone like Barnsley or FC Twente or something. If the rest of the squad can't pull it together and kick off the Europa League campaign at home without Bruno, then that's a problem. Like, so it's not just Bruno thing. Again, I haven't started Eriksen because I just don't think, I think he needs a rest. He's been playing so much and he's doing well. I just want to rest him. Again, Casemiro didn't play, so I think he's going to start. And if he can maintain, his effectiveness in that link-up play and the higher up the pitch, I think he and Ugarte could work well. Ugarte just will do the running because Casemiro can't do anymore. So we've actually won 4 out of our 5 last Europa League home matches, and I'm happy to say that I was there for one of them. Justin and my first match ever at Old Trafford was against Real Betis 2 seasons ago, where we won. I did get to see about Veghor's goal, so souvenir. So I'd like us to to kick off this campaign with another home win. We are also riding a wave of 3 clean sheets in a row. I want us to start strong, get this big statement win, because I'd also like to see us win the Europa League this year and take another step on that ladder towards trophies. Tenhag started this campaign, his tenure with the Carabao Cup, and then the FA Cup. I think the Europa League is the next one. Some people will say it's the Premier League. It's Premier League. We're not there yet. If we win the Premier League this year, like, it will be nothing short of a miracle. Right now, it's probably going to be Arsenal's to lose based on Rodri going down for the season, De Bruyne injured. It's going to be interesting to see how City get on without those two, because they don't tend to do very well without Rodri. But I'd like to see us at least get the Europa League under the belt this season. I think that would be such a good sign of progression, in my opinion. I think, again, the Carabao Cup was solid. FA Cup was brilliant, but my greedy ass wants more. Success breeds expectation. So my expectation this year is trophies. And progress under Ten Hag this year is going to mean lifting the Europa League. Ten Hag needs this trophy as well. I don't know if it will be enough to have another poor finish in the league and somehow get, an Europa League. He's going to need this Europa League. 8th place finish in FA Cup is not going to do it for a lot of people. It might not do it for Ineos this summer. So he needs this. We need a good top 4 finish, I think. I think it's possible. We need to start scoring goals. If we're going to finish in the top 4, if we're going to anywhere near the top 4, we have to start scoring goals. We're beating top sides like Arsenal and City in several metrics. We're creating so many chances. We're just missing the most chances too. So we have to do better in front of goal if we want to have a shot at that. So that's on the players. It's Ten Hag's football that's getting us into these positions, and it's making us look controlled and dominant. The players need to put them away. And so what we got here, Europa and top 6, if not that top 4. And that's what, if he doesn't get top 4, I think the Europa League would do well, but we can't have another poor finish. We can't have another like a negative goal differential. We can't sit here and do this. I want to win the Europa League this year. That is my aim. So let me know score predictions. What do you guys think it's going to be? I think it'll be 3-1 United tomorrow. I think that we're going to see Xerxes grab another goal. I'd love to see Højlund get a goal too. I think that'd be really good for him as well. But I think De Ligt is looking scarier and scarier on set pieces, so I wouldn't be surprised to see De Ligt grab a header off a corner if he plays. Danny mentioned Maguire. I wouldn't put it past Maguire starting. I think that could be good. I don't think that do you think it would be Maguire and Evans? Because I feel like Maguire and De Ligt very similar, but we will see. I think it'll be 3-1 United. Let me know your predictions in the comments in the live chat. Oh, and the Etihad lived up to its nickname today as City hosted Watford in the Carabao Cup. Big up Tom Cleverley. City did beat them 2-1, but United sells out against the League One competition in the Carabao Cup, but it's not a competition or anything. But maybe Pep should have begged more fans to show up again like he did before. Literally absolute tin pot joke of a club, City. You can't fill out your stadium at all, ever. Danny says we can't play Evans. Why can't we play Evans? Oh, is he not registered for the Europa League? Is that what's going on? I probably should have looked at that ahead of time. It didn't even occur to me that might be the case. I did the video on it a few months back, or last month too. Yeah, confirm that for me, Danny. Is that something that, because he's not part of the registered squad for the competition? But in any case, I'm going to 3-1 United. I don't know where I pull that from. I just say things. There's like the deficit could have something to do with the competition sometimes, but I'm usually pretty conservative with that. It's been a long time since we've had a spell where we're scoring more than like 3 goals, so it is what it is. Oh, you mean with Maguire? That just seems to be the case when we play Maguire. We usually play him with Evans when we saw that against Barnsley and stuff. So I don't think I would want Maguire and Evans playing against someone like Semstein or Lammers or anything like that, because I do think that the movement in and around the edge of the box is a little too quick. So I like this to start strong and then finish with some rotation with some of those positions. But I'd like to see players maybe like Casemiro and Højlund and Ugarte get the start. So let me know what you think. I think Rashford's going to start, but that is going to be the preview for us. I will be back probably not tomorrow, probably what's tomorrow? Wednesday, probably Thursday with, man, it feels weird to say Wednesday. Wow. Jeez, I thought today was Wednesday. Man, what a day. It's not even been like a crazy busy day. It's just one of those days where your just head's gone. But thanks, Danny, for chatting, man. It's always a good time chatting with you. If you're not catching it live, leave a comment. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I will see you guys on the next one, hopefully talking about a win and a big 3 points to kick off our Europa League season. So take it easy, guys. Enjoy your night, and I will talk to you on the next one. Later.